David Waters here from Gators Breakdown. Hey, look, another update. Here we go. Quick update episode here. Not a full episode, but with the announcement of Florida and Colorado going to take on each other in 2028 and 2029. Florida announced today on Wednesday that the Gators will host Colorado first, September 9th, 2028. With Florida going to travel to Colorado the next year, September 8th, 2029. So I know it's not the opponent that many were hoping for when Scott Strickland tweeted out that the announcement was coming for some home-and-home series. But look, this is the Gators' first trip for a road game at a conference game since September 21st, 1991 against Syracuse. So, look, Texas game's probably going to get announced sometime soon to a 2030, 2031 matchup. Texas, Kirk Bowles of the Austin American-Statesman kind of tweeted out a month ago that that's what he had been hearing from the Texas side of things, that Florida and Texas are working on a deal. So that game probably will get announced soon as well. But for now, Florida, Colorado have announced that they're going to play each other, and a lot of people were taking it not the right way. I don't want to say right way. A lot of people just thought it would be a bigger opponent here. When it was kind of rumored that it might be a Pac-12 school. Of course, it went to UCLA, USC as the top two, maybe in Oregon out there as well. But it ends up being Colorado as that Pac-12 school. Long trip out west there when Florida takes on Colorado in 2029. But the first matchup will be in Gainesville, September 9th, 2028. So there we go. Tweeted it out as well when Florida shared it, and I'll share some of your thoughts here. Some are good there, but Sup Docs says good matchup. Colorado is trending up with a new coach, program, facilities, and tradition. They have a more recent national championship than most of the SEC, and anyone who has been to their stadium knows how fun that road game will be, not just for the team, but for the fans as well. Colorado is a program that's been trending up, had a pretty good season 2 years ago under Mike McIntyre, head coach there. He left, so they hired the Mel Tucker, the Georgia defensive coordinator. Look, if he's there in 10 years, I'd be really surprised, because if he's there in 10 years, that means he's doing really well, and he's probably leaving for another job within this 10-year window before this game gets played. So I doubt Mel Tucker will be the head coach for Colorado, but I could see Dan Mullen still being the head coach of the Gators when they roll out there to Boulder in 2029 there. But when this matchup when the matchup takes place, I really doubt we're going to see Mel Tucker on the Colorado sideline. But maybe he likes it there. Who knows? We'll see. But in 10 years, if Colorado is rolling and if this is a big game in, say, the next decade, then more than likely I doubt Mel Tucker is there. Maverick says it's a start. Hopefully the Big 12 team is Texas, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that one's happening. And also, I'm going to look out for Peach Bowl, one of the kickoff Peach Bowl games to get announced soon as well. The neutral site game in Atlanta, I think Florida's going to be announced soon for one of those games, probably the 2023 season. So look for that one coming out as well. Sean Carpenter says, I like it. Great campus and cool tradition. Wonder if Ralphie will come to the swamp. That'll be a sight to see. Ralphie running through Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. That will be. I didn't even think about that part of it. Ralphie, one of the biggest traditions in college football, that big old buffalo running out of the tunnel. So that would be fun. It would be a long road trip. So we'll see if that can happen. Let's see here. Casey Hampton, Atlanta Gator, was responding to somebody saying that they don't like the trip. He says, why? It's a fun road trip, beautiful state and scenery, exposure to a place we haven't been before, and a huge Gator presence out there, and there are more forthcoming. We can't be spoiled when we ask for something, but then demand what we ask for. Yeah, like I said, I know a lot of people got their hopes up with some bigger programs out there, mainly USC and UCLA. That was the probably top two schools I have seen that Gator fans want to see on the docket eventually. And I'll probably get to another tweet that says it on here too, but when you see what Georgia's doing and their upcoming schedules with Notre Dame and Oregon, Oklahoma, you see those games, you're kind of hoping that Florida gets those kind of teams on the schedule, but not here with Colorado. But hey, we don't know what the future's going to hold. In 10 years, Colorado could be a big-time program. Right now, on the surface, doesn't look, it's kind of a mid-pack game, middle-of-the-road game. And I think the excitement more will be for, as it stands right now, will be more for taking the trip out there, taking a road trip to a place we haven't seen. We've been to all these SEC stadiums, we've been to these neutral site games, but it would be a neat experience to go out to Colorado for a game. So it may not be necessarily exciting for the team Florida is playing, but the trip itself. It may be better than the game, but we'll see. Colorado could be a team that's on the rise in the next decade and could be a bigger opponent by then. Justin Trudell says, they said we needed a true Power 5 out-of-conference game outside of the state of Florida. They didn't say we needed a good one. So, Derek Dreyer, I am amped for us to be doing something new with a cool destination. It's like Gator fans can't ever be happy. That's the thing. I'll be interested to see how what Scott Strickland's hearing there. So Chris Whelan, or Whelan, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. He says it kind of depends on other home-and-home series to be announced. Colorado and Texas equals solid. Colorado and Kansas State equals no thanks. So as I said, I feel pretty confident just because it also came from the Texas side of things that Florida and Texas will be kind of that next opponent. That next series announced. Dave Thirot says, will people keep crying about UF/SEC scheduling FCS opponents? Here's that out-of-conference Power 5 opponent. That should still be an easy win. Brian Wetzel, not competitive, but also not a bad road trip. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. The trip itself is going to be pretty good. Matthew Christian, that's awful. T. Jenkins, I love it. Austin at run_pod, not sure why you'd schedule a home-and-home with a team that is used to playing at such a high altitude that most of Florida players haven't experienced. And that's a really good point. I brought it up with a coworker of mine before I came on here. And look, when Florida goes to Colorado, that's going to be the biggest issue. Luckily, the game is not in November when you have to deal with really, really cold weather and high altitude. Now you're just going to be going for the high altitude part of it. So I'll be interested to see. Hey, look, it's 9-10 years away. But what the travel plans are for this. And will Florida kind of go out there earlier so they can get acclimated to the high altitude? Will they kind of go on their regular travel schedule? It's something don't necessarily need to worry about right now, but when the game comes around, that will be something to kind of keep an eye on. Georgia did play in Colorado many seasons ago, I believe, when Aaron Murray was the quarterback there. So that was some time ago. So SEC teams went out there and did that, but I believe Colorado won that game, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I do remember Georgia going out there and playing just a few years ago. So some gifts out there of people yawning and not. Let's see, Fidias Quaresma. Sorry, I don't mess your name up there. We could have done better. Peacekeeper of the Big Three says, honestly, too far to even think about Colorado. Might be really good, then you can never tell. And Christopher Yane says, not exactly the high-profile opponent I thought it would be, but who knows where the programs will be a decade from now. And yeah, that's kind of my thought about it too. We'll see kind of where it goes from here in the next decade or so, and we'll see where Florida and Colorado stand. Hopefully Florida is one of the nation's best teams by the time we get around there. But September 9th, 2028 in Gainesville, September 8th, 2029 in Boulder, as Florida and Colorado will match up. So a couple more thoughts before I let you go. Kay Brackens, interesting, came out of left field for sure, but still excited. Yeah, this was one of the names for sure when Colorado came up here I did not necessarily even think about there. As I said, it was everybody's thoughts go to the big schools and what schools you want to see there. So of course, bigger schools were being thought about in this process. Some dude 44 says as a road trip, awesome. As a college football game, meh. And Rafa this last one here, Rafa725. Rafa says, I'm a Gator fan, and we will always get it about playing nobody away outside of the South, and the best they could do is Colorado. Georgia has scheduled Notre Dame and OU. I don't think many people are going to go to the tradition-rich Colorado away game. I'm sorry, this is a letdown. So, sorry people feel that way. Knew it was coming as soon as I saw Colorado. I will admit too, it wasn't the biggest excitement level there, but it is a game. It's a different type of game. It is a name opponent. It's not the cupcake games that I don't necessarily like so much. So we'll see what happens in the next decade as far as that game goes. But look for one more home and home series to be announced soon. Maybe the 2023 Chick-fil-A kickoff game announced soon as well. And we'll kind of see where the scheduling goes from here. But with what Georgia's doing and scheduling, you're probably going to see some more schools in the SEC starting to strengthen their schedule a little bit too. So this is David Waters from Gators Breakdown. Be sure to check out the latest episode just posted a couple days ago where we kind of assess the recruiting Florida's doing right now after DeMarcus Bowman committed to Clemson, and kind of look at the Clemson model as well, and if Florida can replicate what Clemson did in building that program. So this is David Waters from Gators Breakdown. Thanks for checking this out.